Hi everybody and welcome to Current Events. Today we are reading the Driftless Journal from Tuesday, February 15th, 2022. On the front page we have two articles. The first one is Burr Oak Mother and Daughter Set Goal to Visit Every Iowa State Park. Liz Torgensen and 17-year-old daughter Annika of Burr Oak are on a mission to visit every Iowa state park. The goal emerged during summer 2020 in the first few months of the COVID-19 pandemic. The duo began with a trip to Backbone State Park in Delaware County, Iowa's oldest state park, and Pikes Peak in Clayton County. There are a total of 63 state parks in Iowa, Liz explained. We had to narrow the goal down to those in northeast Iowa for the time being. I didn't realize how many state parks there were. Liz said there is no planned order to visit the parks. We grabbed a Guide to Iowa State Parks booklet at Yellow River State Forest in spring 2021, which allows Liz and family to break down the parks by region and narrow down their goal to specifically just Northeast Iowa. Liz explained, I am a huge to-do list goal tracker. It was a big deal when we would cross off each one. The family also utilized a phone app called Iowa Passport. Liz said the trips are a great opportunity for her and her family to get away. I am a consultant for the company 31, so I can work from my phone using social media. Okay. And I don't know where that continues, but we wish them luck in their trip to see all the parks in Northeast Iowa. All right. Then the next thing on the front page is Women Empowering Women. That is the Boss Lady mission. This coming March, Toppling Goliath Brewing Company will launch a women's empowerment series to connect and support local women in the pursuit of business and personal goals, financial health, and physical and mental wellness through inspiration, idea sharing, networking, and education. No beer? I don't know. After all, behind every successful woman is the tribe of women who supported her journey. Join Toppling Goliath every Tuesday in March from 8 to 10 a.m., maybe that's why there's no beer, for the Boss Ladies series, an informative and interactive 2 hours with local keynote speakers who will share their experiences, insight, and education on topics important to women. Session dates are March 1st, 8th, 15th, 22nd, and 29th. Toppling Goliath employs more than 150 people. 51% are women. The idea started with a focus on women in the brewing industry but quickly pivoted, said Toppling Goliath Marketing Director Sarah Mollers. As we began to discuss what women need to know to kill it every day in business, we realized this series needs a much broader view and strong local focus. We want to connect and support women right here in our community. That is a great idea. And they have really good beer. All right. NICC has named its next president, Dr. Herbert Rydell. Here is his photo, if I can get it in for you. He looks like he would do a good job. But looks can be deceiving. I'm sure they chose the best possible candidate. Let's see. We continue on our merry way. Moving along to, let's see. Keeping on to the next page. Iowans preserve historical assets with $118,626 in grants. Winneshiek County is among the recipients. From Sioux City to Muscatine, the Iowa Department of Cultural Affairs is investing in projects to preserve the state's historical assets. the department announced it had awarded, $118,626 in grants for 14 historic preservation projects. Locally, Winneshiek County Historic Preservation Commission was awarded $3,900. The commission will nominate Decorah's Smith Memorial Hospital to the National Register of Historic Places. Additionally, in Clayton County, Gothenburg Historic Preservation Commission was awarded $10,200 toward the development of design guidelines for Gothenburg's Front Street Historic District, including the boundary amendment. Through this program, the State Historic Preservation Office collaborates with local governments to preserve historic properties, establishing historic preservation commissions, and enacting supportive local codes and ordinances. Well, those are good things to have to preserve stuff. And here's a fun article. University of Upper Iowa alumna World War II veteran celebrates 103rd birthday. What? One of Upper Iowa University's revered alumni celebrated his 103rd birthday Sunday, February 6th. World War II veteran and Fayette native Foster Cass graduated with a degree in math and business administration and a minor in history from the University of Upper Iowa in 1941. He is now living in Los Alamitos, California, and has dedicated his life to family, the world of education, and philanthropy efforts. Well, congratulations to him. All right. Some Driftless area Century Heritage Farms have been recognized. Keeping the farm in the same family for at least 100 years is a big accomplishment given the challenges in the agriculture industry. This year, several Driftless area farms were recognized as Century or Heritage Farms. The Langerman family farm near Fayette recently was honored as a Century Farm, signifying at least 100 years of continuous ownership by the same family. The Doug Peterson Donna Rasmussen Farm recently was awarded a Heritage Farm Award for their operation near Decorah, which their family has continuously owned for 150 years or more. Let's learn more about that one. A rural Winneshiek County farm owned by siblings Doug and Donna Rasmussen in Highland Township can trace its roots back centuries. The operation was established in 1866 and was recently named a Century and Heritage Award-winning farm. The farm was honored with both awards as it's been in the same family for 155 years. My family wasn't the original homesteaders. My great-great-grandfather, Knut Train, came over to America with his 4 brothers in 1859 from Norway. Knut and his wife Anna Evensen were married in 1861 and bought the land in 1866. After that, the land passed to Rasmussen's grandfather Edward Trine and his wife Annie, who eventually owned 300 acres of land located in Iowa and Minnesota. Once Edward and Annie moved to Spring Grove, Minnesota in the 40s, their son Kenneth operated the farm there until he passed in 1993. The farm passed on to a partnership of Ken's nieces and nephews that owned the farm up to 2016. Peterson bought the home site, renovated the house, and has lived there ever since, owning the farm with Rasmussen. That's amazing. That's a really long time. And here's their old family photo. The original farm owners. And here is the farm. It's so cute. What a beautiful area. Okay, good for them. Over 100 years on the same farm. All right. The Lake Meyer Fishing Derby happened, and there are some really nice fishing pictures here. I'll show you first Cody Meyer of Kelmer with his first place northern pike hooked in at 7.16 pounds. Check it out. Do you see that fish? He looks pretty proud. And Peyton Gall of Cresco with some bluegill, but you can't really see the fish very well. But then this other photo, Nathan and Colton Drummond and Fort Atkinson with a crappie. Let's see if I can get a picture of the crappie. There we go. That's an unfortunate name for a fish. Looks kind of cute to me. And then Trevo Spiral, I don't know how to pronounce that name, S-B-I-R-A-L, Sprir. Eleanor, you're going to have to help me. With his first place bass pulled out of Lake Meyer and Kalmar, weighing in at 2.42 pounds. Let's see that one. Oh. There you go. Impressive. Okay, moving on to more news. Let's see. I believe we had the article by Pastor Oli, Everything I Ever Needed to Know, by retired Lutheran Pastor Oli Winter, who used to come here to volunteer on Sundays. He said, I learned how to make do. Make do. That's Iowan for getting along with less simply because it was necessary. My father was a good farmer, but also a pretty good shoemaker. We had all the equipment needed to put new soles and heels on our shoes, especially our work shoes. New leather soles would be purchased either in a shoe repair place or a hardware store. They would be nailed on the bottom of the shoes, trimmed to be a perfect fit with a sharp knife, and they were just as good as new. Nowadays, young folk love to wear jeans that are all full of holes, revealing knees and thighs. Not when I was a young guy. No way. Our jeans would be neatly patched in the worn-out places so they could be worn another year or two. When the fad to wear blue jeans blossomed in the 60s, those of us who grew up on farms just smiled. We thought, here I was just glad to leave them on the farm, and now it's okay. It's not only okay, it's the in thing to wear. Now we can even purchase designer jeans. Very little that was once brought onto our farm place left it again. It was recycled. The day of the throwaway society was unheard of. When a piece of farm equipment broke, it was either welded back into place or good old baling wire held it there. One day I noticed my dad with a draw knife working on an old 2x4 piece of wood. He was whittling away on it to make it fit on an old running gear of a hay wagon. He made do with what he had. During World War II, there was a nationwide drive to recycle old iron and steel for the war effort. We didn't have any. It was all in use being recycled. Oh yes, I also learned how to make do because of the Second World War. Nearly everything was either rationed or just not available. We learned to make do by giving new life to a worn-out tire. A boot took the place of the damaged section. I learned how to make do, and I still find myself thinking of how I can fix or renew something in our otherwise throwaway society of today. We were recycling a long time before it became popular. That is true, Pastor Oli. Thank you for your column. And now we move on to echoes of the past. 100 years ago was 1922. Local elementary pupils inspected. I wonder what they're being inspected for. The capable Miss Quammen has reported on her inspection of the pupils in the elementary school grades. The total number of students inspected was 484. According to her tabulations, 150 had defective throats, 213 had defective teeth, 301 had defective vision, and 7%, 87 students, were reportedly underweight. The saddest tragedy that ever cast its gloom over Decorah occurred the other Thursday night as the result of an altercation at the annual Firemen's Masquerade here. What happened? A local man is dead as the result of a revolver in the hands of his brother. Whoa. The event was at the Stiers Hall. The shooter was reportedly under the influence of hooch. Locals have been testifying before the coroner's inquest about where the white booze came from. The dance was continued until 1 o'clock as scheduled. For sale. New 7-room modern house on a fine lot, just finished. Very convenient to town. Price, $600. That's a bargain, but probably not 100 years ago. For sale. I just read that. Sorry. Miss Ellen Larson has installed a beautiful new photo player pipe at the Lyric Theater, where she is manager. What is a photo player pipe, we might ask? It is proving most delightful to the patrons of this popular local playhouse. Decorah is one of the smallest cities in the country to boast such a player. It reportedly cost a big sum of money. Okay. Taxi cabs and flowers, along with other evidence of plenty of money, is now tabooed for all high school social functions in the Iowa town of Cedar Rapids for the remainder of the year. Why? The girls have been instructed to resist their admirers' suggestion of a taxi cab and should either walk or ride the plebeian trolley. The ruling has been made in Cedar Rapids and is expected to be introduced locally, as it is considered too expensive for any young man to need to spend as much as $5 on one social affair with a girl. It might depend on the girl. A smoking room exclusively for women will be opened in New York City. What? This is the first retreat of its kind, and it is the result of the demand by the women theater goers for a place to smoke their cigarettes between acts. The smoking room will have a cigarette stand where women who fail to bring along their smokes may buy them. Is this new idea in the future at any of the local establishments? We think not. I don't know. Did it ever happen? Do you guys know? Stop me in the hall and let me know. A big meet of women is being held next Sunday afternoon at the Congregational Church to consider some of the existing evils in our town. What? All women, especially the mothers, are earnestly required to be present. They're probably going to talk about that hooch from the previous article and the guy with the firearm. I don't know. The big carloads of ice have arrived at Prosper for the Burr Oak Farmers Cooperative Creamery. Local farmers volunteered to transfer the ice to the ice house at Burr Oak, and so many turned out that in less than 3 days, every cake of ice was safely stored away. This certainly speaks well for the local men and for the capable folks at the Burr Oak Creamery. 1932. 90 years ago. James Weldon has 2 new milking cows. There's where to go to get your fresh cream. All right. The general business conditions about the entire country have affected the postal office. Receipts are steadily declining, and the Postmaster General insists that expenses decrease accordingly. To comply, the local post office will close window service on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. On other days, the windows will operate from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Outgoing mail will be dispatched as usual. This word comes from William Linvold, Decorah postmaster. Doors of the closed Weiser banks were opened to the other morning to permit customers to get at their safety deposit boxes, receive their bank statements, pay any loans, and continue the affairs of the banks for the purpose of liquidation. Woo. Upholstered footstools are now just 99 cents at Swan and Lates. The firm also has some good quality upholstered chairs for $10 and radio benches for $1.95. What's a radio bench? I don't know. Let's see. Claude Iverson, the street commissioner, has been made a night watchman in Decorah by Mayor Marsh during the winter months, as there is little street work to be done. Alton Nelson, who has been serving with Ira Rima as the night watchman, has been laid off temporarily and expects to go back to the force to handle traffic when traffic becomes heavier. Alton, with his motorcycle, made quite a record last summer in negotiating automobile traffic and catching those menacing speeders. Okay. We're coming up on President's Day, and there are lots of sales in the paper. Let's see. And that's kind of it for today for current events. We're going to do it again on, I want to say, Friday after we get the paper delivered on Thursday. So thank you so much for watching current events. We'll see you this afternoon for bingo at 2:30 on Channel 37. Coming up, we'll have the Decorah Eagles until it's time for lunch. Have a great rest of your morning and have a great lunch.